Hey guys, so it's Saturday. Brill and I had gone to our baptismal class for our children. It went very well. I'm really excited about it. Oh yeah, my daughter, introducing ourselves and who our kids are. Jazz gets really quiet, silent, dead silent, and then all of a sudden you can hear like she just let one rip. Shortly after, she had like explosive poop. If Brill didn't cover himself up with Ianya's blanket, it would have exploded all over him. I had to throw her pants away, her shirt away, her blanket away, because it's poop stains. Like those yellow poops that babies have, it stains. Like literally, you can't get it out. So yeah, she had a little accident. Right, so I was gonna get to the story of how my birthing experiences with the kids. So Amaro's experience. So I prepped for Amaro's birth pretty well. I a doula, and she's a really good friend of mine. She's actually like a family friend, Patricia. Amazing doula. She now lives in BC. We were lucky enough to have her as our doula. She taught us how birth works, like the rundown of it. Like of course you know what happens, you go to labor and delivery, but like there's the mental preparedness that not many people know how to do. And I told her what my requests were was to have a natural birth as much as possible. I didn't want any medications. I didn't want to have an epidural. It just didn't feel like it was my scene. It is for some, but for me, I felt like I really wanted to connect with my son when I give birth to him. Yeah, we went through a bunch of breathing techniques, spraying techniques, just to kind of help ease the labor. I just basically wanted to do everything as naturally as possible. We wrote up a birth plan, we did all these things. We really prepared ourselves for anything and everything. And we kept it pretty positive. A lot of people say birthing process is scary and like something that you don't want to go through, when really birthing is a positive thing. Body's getting ready to delivering your child, and I find that just really beautiful in a way. It's more of a positive thing than a negative. Of course you're scared. I was scared. I was really scared. But at the same time, I was like, okay, every contraction that I had was one step closer to seeing my son. I thought of it that way, and I thought like, okay, that's perfect. Like I kept that going in my mind. So yeah, the laboring experience, when I started going into labor, it was around 4:30 in the morning. I didn't know I was going into labor yet. My contractions, I started actually timing my contractions because I thought, well, maybe these are what contractions feel like. Then I called to Patricia and I said, hey, I think I'm going into labor. Sure enough, I was going into labor. It didn't take a while until I started getting more intense. And when I mean by more intense, it's an uncomfortable feeling, cramping, sort of feel like you needed to poop. That's the best way that I could describe what laboring is, for me anyways. And when out to Patricia, my doula, came, she had some very potent oils to put on my feet to help increase my contractions. Sure enough, like within seconds, I'm ready, like let's go. Here we are going to the hospital doing my contractions. We get to the hospital. I'm really concentrating on my breathing. I had to stop for a while. It's just to, get that contraction to ease up. There was a time where I'd be like, okay, let's go. And I would be walking like this big belly in my hand. Oh, I gotta go. So let's get to this. Let's get a laboring delivery room like right away. And then I'll be like, okay, hold on, stop. I'll be going for like the longest time, and then after that I'd be like, okay, let's go. I did a few of those breaks in the halls, and at one point I stopped and I thought I pooped. Literally felt like I pooped. That's what it literally feels like. But I didn't, thank God. So I go into the delivery room where they're getting set up. When they had assessed me, they told me I was like 6 centimeters dilated, which is really freaking good. When we got there at the hospital around like 12. Yeah, around 12. Getting ready for just slowly preparing myself, getting my mind just being mentally prepared for this wonderful, birthing experience that I'm about to have and meet my son for the first time. About 4 o'clock, I was ready to deliver. I was ready for the pushing phase. Yeah, so my whole laboring thing was basically 12 hours of labor. Pushing came. Sorry, come to that amazing part. During that time, Brel was with me. He noticed that I was in pain, and I was really trying to be strong. He really helped me out through this, and he said to me, he said, the pain doesn't control you, you control the pain. So boom, it was like mentally ingrained in my brain, and I was like, let's go time, like let's push this baby out. Started pushing, and it took me 3 pushes. That last push, and I saw my son for the first time. It was probably the most incredible feeling. It was beautiful. It was such an amazing moment and an amazing time for both Brel and I. We both teared up, we both cried. I cried. It was really special. To hold him in my arms for the first time was, I don't think that I could ever erase that memory, that moment, because it was just that surreal. And yeah, now he's getting baptized tomorrow. I'm pretty excited about that. I had 2nd-degree tears, by the way, but that was it. 2nd-degree tears. What else did I have? Oh, and I had a hemorrhoid. That was about it. Oh, and then I also had an allergic reaction to naproxen. I was allergic to naproxen. I had crazy ass rashes, and that sucked. Rashes on my stomach anyway. Broke out in hives, and it sucked because I didn't even do like a skin to skin contact with I was covered in cream, and that just sucked balls. But other than that, everything was okay. We got to talk about my daughter. Ianya, she was born on November 4th. Just wanted to see her so bad. Like I literally I tried like literally everything to get her out, and she just was not having it. She decided to come out whenever she wanted to. Literally she did, and I'll tell you the story in a bit here. I'll get to that right away. So with Ianya, I didn't know that I was going into labor. I didn't know I was even having contractions until like, okay, let me tell you the story. So I talked to my doctor, and I said, hey, like, she's one day overdue or 2 days overdue. And she's like, you know what, we can strip your membranes, and we'll see if it gets anything started. So she stripped my membranes, and it's like an uncomfortable feeling to get it stripped, I guess you could say. What I recommend to any moms out there who want to get their membranes stripped, it's really up to your discretion, right? Like, it's how bad do you want to see your baby, right? For me, I really wanted to see her. She was a couple days overdue, and I was like, wow, you really want to make an entrance. That's cool. But I actually had a false labor with her, and I was like, okay, I feel like I'm having contractions, let's do this, but totally false alarm, which sucked. And then I cried about it because I was like, wow, you psyched me up for like nothing. That's so rude. So anyways, I got my membrane stripped, and then she's like, have some raspberry leaf tea, have some pineapple, just to kind of help things going, because those are, they do say that it can help induce labor. And I was like, really? Nothing happened at all during that day. So I was just like, whatever, like, let's just do my errands. And I did a lot. I did a lot that day. So then by the evening time, I'd say around 9 o'clock, I was just like, I still felt the same. I would have like the Braxton Hicks contractions, or so I thought. 9 o'clock rolls by, and I'm just like, yo, Braxton Hicks contractions happening, like, whatever, cool. Wish it was like real contractions. 9:30 comes by, and then I felt like a pop, and I thought, what the hell was that? So I kind of played it off like, whatever, it's probably another Braxton Hicks contraction, no big deal. And then it started getting stronger. But the thing is with Braxton Hicks, they're never in like the time intervals aren't the same. Whereas when you're having real contractions, they are the same. So I wasn't expecting anything out of that, because I was like, oh, well, this is just Braxton Hicks, whatever. But it started getting stronger, and I thought, like, god damn, like, this is really feeling like a legit contraction. So rather than just going to the hospital, I kind of just stayed stayed at home and just kind of rolled on the ball, do some some breathing techniques and just massage myself and all that stuff. And then I decided to call like 811. It's like this nurse healthline thing. So I called it and I'm like, hey, so I think I'm having contractions. And then the nurse is like, oh, well, what is it that you're feeling? I'm like, well, like midway through the conversation with her, and she's like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna tell you right now, congratulations, you're having your baby, so you can just go on into the hospital, okay? And I'm like, okay, let's do this. 10 o'clock rolls by, driving to the hospital, every bump that we hit. Saskatoon roads suck major. When you're hitting those bumps, you're really feeling those bumps. We should have took the highway bridge because it's just smooth sailing from there. We went into the city and it was just like pothole after pothole after freaking pothole. I get to the hospital, getting assessed, and then she's like, what did she say it was? 8 centimeters, 9 centimeters? Like I was really close to 10 centimeters dilated. And they're like, okay, so you're pretty much ready to go. I'm like, okay, sweet. And that was like maybe around 10. Oh, I had the times wrong because she was born at 12:03. No, 10:30 was when I was having the contractions. By 11 o'clock, we were at the hospital. By 11:30, we were going into the delivery room. Sorry about that. We were in the delivery room, and then they're like, okay, well, you're almost dilated. I'm like, no, you gotta check it again, because I'm really feeling like I need to push. But we had to wait for our doctor to come, and I was like, okay, she's coming. They went and checked me, and they're like, okay, yeah, you're 10 centimeters dilated. Hopefully Dr. Mensa comes in, and boom, she comes right in. Pushing away. Second push, and it was pretty much close to 12. And the craziest thing happened. The heart monitor to check the baby's heartbeat was nowhere near us, and it was silent. And the heart monitor that was just a few feet away from us started going off. Like you could hear a heartbeat. What's going on? Like, why is it going off? And then they were like, I wonder whose heartbeat that is. And then Brel goes like, I think it's your grandpa. I just started, tears just started coming down. Just smiled, and I just thought like, wow, like that's my grandpa checking in on me. Like that's really, really nice. The last push that I did, she really took her time with that last contraction. It was like, I don't know, like 10 minutes waiting for me to do the last push. And then when I did, out she came and right in my arms. She was crying, and then she opened her eyes and she saw me for the first time, and I just thought, oh my goodness. Just thinking about this makes me want to have more kids. Sorry, babe. I mean, we think about it all the time. We think about wanting to have more kids, but we're like, no, 2 is enough, because then if we have 3, it's uneven. Then we gotta have another one, which is 4, and I'm just like, yo, like my vagina is not like a freaking gumball machine, okay? Those are like my birthing experiences with Amaro and Ianya. They're both getting baptized tomorrow, brother and sister. And I think that's like the coolest thing ever. When they grow up, they'll look back at it and think like, oh, that's really special that, mom and dad got us baptized together, because I don't think that really happens very often when siblings are baptized together. So that's about it for that story.
Hey, so we did a family workout here today. We did 8 mountain climbers to squat hold for 30 seconds. And the next exercise, we did bicycles for 30 seconds. The third exercise we did was plank jacks, again for 30 seconds. And then we did wide mountain climbers, sorry. So we did all this exercise here. We did 30 seconds each exercise for as many rounds as you can, with 30 to 60 seconds break. So here it is. I hope you guys like it. I hope you enjoy. Like and subscribe, and yeah, show some love and support.
My dad just did a workout with me. How did it go, Dad?
Awesome.
Yeah? Really?
Beautiful, yeah.
Oh.